What's up, guys? Brent Hess here with Cagezilla Unchained, brought to you by the Wild Style Network. We are here with a special guest, our main event coming up here at Cagezilla 83, February 22nd. He is a United States Marine Corps vet, originally from Jamaica. He was named Ohio's MMA Athlete of the Year. He'll be fighting here at Cagezilla 83 for our middleweight title fight. Randy Savage Myers, how you doing, my man? Thank you for joining us.
I'm good. How are you? I'm blessed.
Doing good, doing good. Let's get right into it. Let's let the Cagezilla Unchained fans get to know you a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your background, maybe your upbringing, and kind of what led to this point in your journey in martial arts.
This journey in martial arts kind of started off basically with my family introducing me to Professor George. Is probably gonna clown me for this shit, but my family was introducing me to WWE and like kung fu movies and shit like that. So while everybody else was playing soccer and playing cricket, like I wanted to fight. So moving back into the States, the easiest way that I could find to do that financially wise was wrestling. So I got into wrestling, took that as far as I could take it. Went to the Marine Corps, wrestled for them, took that as far as they would allow me to take it. And from that point on, just started transitioning into fighting.
Nice, nice. And you always kind of knew that you wanted to fight MMA, or you just kind of started training at the beginning for fitness and stuff like that?
At the beginning, I just started training for wrestling. Like I always wanted to fight, but I didn't even know MMA existed growing up in Jamaica. It was as I got older and I started to see it on TV, seeing like the Brock Lesnar's, the Rich Franklins. And I'm like, oh, okay, I like this. And I was already wrestling at the time. So I was like, maybe I could do this. So as I got older, I was like, you know what? This is going to be what I do.
Nice. Well, and so now tell us some of the people you fight for. I see you're a family man. I know you also have an amazing coach and Professor George Gurgel. I mean, what wealth of knowledge. What a guy to learn from, you know,
Yes.
between him and UFC champion Rich Franklin, former UFC champion Rich Franklin in the gym. Tell us a little bit about that experience. You don't get that every day. Not everybody gets that in their gym every day. You know, I mean, he told me the story of how you kind of motivated him to continue passing the baton and continue teaching MMA and passing along his knowledge. But, you know, I want to hear it from you, man. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
I mean, it's great training with them. It's great learning from them. Professor George, he probably knows more jiu-jitsu and martial arts than a lot of us have already. Like, he's forgotten more than we actually know. Like, let's put it that way. So it's like, it's great to learn from him. It's great to learn from Rich. They've been there. They've done everything
Yeah.
for years. Like, Rich is still a stud right now. He's 50 years old, still moves like he's 25.
Jeez.
Hard to keep up with still, but it's great to learn the lessons from them because they have all the experience in the world. So it's the perfect people for me to actually like learn from. And then for me, it's just up to me to be a sponge.
Yeah.
Shut my mouth or ask questions when I need to, but for the most part, just listen and try to understand like all the knowledge that they're putting down. Because every time they open their mouth, they're saying something that I'm gonna need in the future. So
Yeah.
it's perfect for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and speaking of perfect, I mean, Rich Franklin was the UFC middleweight champion. And that's the exact belt that you're fighting for, man, for Cagezilla. So,
Sure.
I mean, it lines up perfectly. Do you actually get to move around with him?
Yeah, I train jujitsu with Rich probably twice a week, Mondays and Wednesdays.
Wow.
Just get to roll around with him,
Yeah.
and he educates me on everything that I need to know. If
Yeah.
I'm doing something incorrect, we'll sit there and we'll talk through it. And then we have Professor George come over and he'll be like, no, you guys should do it this way. So it's like now I have a 5th-degree black belt telling me to do it this way, and a 3rd-degree black belt also telling me to do it this way. So I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, I can't fuck this shit up.
And how's Rich, man? I mean, moving around with him, he still got it, huh? A little bit?
Yeah, he's strong as shit. Strong and highly intelligent. Highly intelligent.
Yeah. I mean, he's
That's the main takeaway. Like he has the strength still,
yeah.
but he's highly intelligent. And
Yeah.
Professor George is an encyclopedia of jujitsu.
Yeah, yeah, no, I love George Gurgel, your coach, and I had a nice interview with him, and he was very insightful. Had a lot of great things to say. One of our longest interviews on Cagezilla Unchained, and so it was great to speak with him. Now on the MMA, strict MMA side of things, and maybe some of the fighters you enjoy watching. Tell us a little bit about that. Maybe some of the fighters you like their style, you like to emulate their style, and maybe take a little bit of what they do and bring it into what you do. Tell us.
From the MMA side, obviously, like I like guys like John Jones. I love watching him.
Yeah,
Like growing up watching Anderson Silva. Just guys that kind of resemble me. You know, representation matters. And when I see guys that look like me and they're about the same build and stuff like that, I'm like, I like how they fight. So
yeah,
you know, guys like John Jones, Anderson Silva. I like to watch Izzy, GSP. Uh, Growing up, I like Ben Henderson a lot. I was smaller back then. And then from like a wrestling aspect, I like guys like Ed Ruth. That was my guy. Like grew up watching him, try to emulate his style with wrestling as much as I could. And then a lot of Greco guys, like watching them. Those are my boys. So
yeah, yeah. Yeah, you can take little pieces from it, from all those, and kind of bring them into your game, man.
right.
And that kind of moves us into what I wanted to talk about next, which is the topic of the day, which is your main event title fight here coming up at Cagezilla 83. It's a middleweight title fight, February 22nd here at the Salisbury Center. I commentated your last fight and your victory inside the Cagezilla cage. You mix your kicks and punches up really nice. You didn't appear to be in any danger really throughout the whole fight, and ended up ultimately getting to the guy's back and finishing the fight. You're going up against a tough opponent as well in Julio Brody. He's fought with us in the Cagezilla cage before. He's been victorious here as well. Tell us, Randy, what, if anything, do you know about him? I know he's got a little more fight footage out there.
Mhm.
Have you been able to study him at all? And maybe what can you share with us that you've been able to observe?
Um, well, realistically, I'm not going to share much of what I've observed, but I have been watching him. I have been studying. I
Okay.
got to see his last fight in person. We actually came down to Virginia back in December, and we were trying to get me matched up. Couldn't get a fight, so we showed up. I had my paperwork and everything.
Oh, wow.
It was like, I'll fight anybody in the building, and the only person that actually made eye contact with me was him. So this is like
Huh.
divine intervention, It
Yeah.
was meant to happen. The only person that looked me in my face at that moment is him. So this fight was meant to be.
Wow. Wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know that when I was putting this fight together. I guess you had observed that. So that's a keen observation on your end, to kind of see that and remember that. And maybe he remembers that moment as well. I know your coach,
I'm
George
sure he
Gurgel.
does.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When he hears this, he will. I'm sure your coach George Gurgel is happy for it. He was really trying to line you up for a title fight and get you in here. He was kind of, insinuating that he was having a hard time getting you a fight. It's kind of, people don't want to fight you.
That's how it
So
felt. We
yeah,
came down, it was like, hey, he'll fight anybody in here. It
yeah.
was silence.
Crickets. Yeah,
But
yeah.
we got one now.
Was Julio fighting
He
that
he
night?
he was fighting the following night.
Okay.
And in the event that his opponent wasn't gonna make it, we told him that we would take that fight as well. That
Oh, okay.
the following night. So that was Friday. We told him we would fight on Saturday. So now here we are, 2 months later, fighting. So happy
Wow.
for it. Shout out to him and his team. We
Yeah,
very much appreciate it.
yeah,
We're coming down 9 hours driving for a
yeah,
fight to fight anybody. So we
yeah,
really truly appreciate it, both me and Ben, because
yeah.
Ben also couldn't find a fight that time frame. So
Wow.
it's good that we're getting out there.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, no, I feel as the matchmaker, I feel even better now that you kind of told me the backstory on all this and kind of you guys having trouble getting this and I was able to match them up. I don't want to take too much credit, but I was able to match you guys up pretty easily and put these title fights together. So man, I'm really happy to
I
be
mean,
able to
there's
do.
times when you have, sorry to cut you off. There's times when you have guys that are willing to fight and want to fight.
Yeah,
And I feel like that's what you have now.
Yeah.
Whereas like a month ago when it's like, hey, I'm trying to find a fight and crickets, you can't get anything. Or you got my boy Ben trying to find a fight, we can't find anything. You had Will trying to find a fight. So you have all three of us trying to find a fight, and it's like months and months are going by, and we're just sitting there like, do we have one? Do we have one? Do we have one?
Yeah.
So we're amateurs, you know. Like a lot of guys need to get out there and get the experience going. Like a guy like me, I'm 28 years old. I don't have a lot of experience under my belt, but I'm trying to get there. It's hard to
Yeah.
get there when guys don't want to fight. So that's
Yeah.
why we truly appreciate their team for accepting the fight.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, it seems like you guys got mutual gratitude. It sounds like almost like their team also has had some of the similar struggles on trying to get their guys matched up and, traveling around different places. And man, what a blessing. What a blessing. And I feel really happy that I was able to kind of put these together for you guys and really happy for you and Ben and your coach, George Grigel. I know you guys travel 9 hours. That is not an easy thing to do. That's not something that most people do. And so for you to do that, it means a lot, man. I mean, how does it feel, Cagezilla? I know you fought for us only once, but how does it feel comparatively maybe to other organizations? And how do you feel about Cagezilla giving you all the lights, camera, and action that you deserve?
I appreciate it. I love it. I never actually got in the spotlight. It's cool. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
like, oh my God, but at the same time, like I'm appreciative,
Yeah.
definitely.
You're the main event, man. You're gonna get a lot of spotlight here pretty soon. So
Gotta make it do what it do, man.
that's amazing. Now, there's a lot of buzz surrounding the entire card. The first card of the year here, Cagezilla 83. But I think deep down, at least between the people in my circle, this main event is really going to have us sitting on the edges of our seats, man, and it's something that I'm really looking forward to. But I want to hear from you, Randy. What kind of energy are you bringing into February 22nd, into fight week and fight day? And tell our audience here what they can expect to see from Randy Savage Myers.
The right energy. Just show up. You'll see it. That's it.
No talk. You want to show us here in the ring,
Yeah.
in the cage.
Just show up. Show up, tune in, you'll see it.
Beautiful.
Whatever that you think you're looking for, just show up and you'll see it.
That's beautiful, man. Yeah, no, I'm excited, and I'm excited. I'm glad you gave us a little bit of that backstory with you and Julio, and the stars aligned for you guys, man. And that's it's all coming to a head here pretty soon, and really excited for it and your team. Before we leave here, I always ask people for a little quote or something empowering that they can kind of share with our audience, maybe something you've read, something your coaches have shared with you that you can kind of empower our audience with and share with them.
My mother always tells me this: nothing happens before its time. So don't rush it. Everything's gonna happen in God's timing. And if you think that it's your time, hey man, it may not be, because God said it ain't today. So it just is what it is. So that's a quote that I go by in my life. Nothing happens before its time. So fight didn't line up the first time, line up now. There we have it.
Yeah, everything happens on the right time, in God's time, and that's beautiful, man. I love that. Well, hey, give us a way, Randy, that we can follow your journey. Hopefully, God willing, you might get this title belt here coming up February 22nd and moving on to big things. Tell us how we can follow your journey, show you a little love online, whether that be Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and give us a way that we can do that. Even if it's also your team, and if you want to give out any shout outs to them, feel free to do so here now.
So my team's account is JGMMA_Academy on Instagram. Okay. And that's on Instagram. And then mine is The Savage. That's THESAAVAGE1 on Instagram. And you can see all the shebangs. You can see all the fights upcoming. You can see all our promotions on our team's page. I also run that social media as well. So I got double hats.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely be doing that. I follow you guys and I follow you. And man, I hope training and everything continues to go well. We're here a couple short weeks away from Cagezilla 83. So I hope training continues to go awesome. You stay healthy. And man, thanks for joining us. I know you got a lot going on, a lot of different things you're doing, but thanks for taking a little time out today to get on Cagezilla Unchained and giving us this interview, man. I was glad to see you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you having me. I'll see you guys soon.
All right, guys. There you have it. Our main event, Randy Savage Myers on Cagezilla 83, February 22nd. Make sure you guys are picking up tickets at cagezilla.com. Until next time, thank you guys for joining us on Cagezilla Unchained here. Much love and respect. Signing off.
Yeah.